Well, this year is going to be absolutely crazy for everyone. The U.S. President Donald Trump is now literally dropping F-bombs in front of the media and posting insane messages on the internet.
That have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you understand that?
Now, think about that. A U.S. president, not a news anchor, not a general, the president, is using this kind of language during a press briefing. Why? Because neither side is listening to him. This is not just about language. It's about authority. And right now, it seems President Trump authority, especially in the Middle East, is being openly challenged. Well, if you think this is weird, then his tweets are even more weird. Recently, President Trump shocked the world by announcing that Israel and Iran have agreed on a ceasefire, which has now become his favorite word, I guess. Now, mind you, this tweet came just after Iran attacked the U.S. bases in the Middle East. So this is weird altogether. Here you can see President Trump's long tweet in which he wrote, 12-day war is over. This will go in history. God bless America. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. Now it's peacetime. But guess what? Nothing like this happened. Both Iran and Israel started firing missiles and rockets at each other after this announcement. I mean, this President Trump announcement is truly an embarrassing moment for Israel. Even Israelis must be wondering, what just happened? Here they are, in the middle of Operation Rising Lion. And then suddenly, a tweet from the U.S. declares a ceasefire before the Israeli government even had a chance to respond. I mean, now not only Israelis, but the whole world must be asking, what was the significance of Operation Rising Lion if the main goal wasn't achieved? The main goal was either Iran's nuclear program is completely gone or there is regime change. Well, nothing like that happened. However, this operation left the world with more sympathy for Iran and displayed Israel as an aggressor. And the Israeli government knows this. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu does not agree with this and again sent their fighter jets to bomb Iran. Now President Trump's statement that a ceasefire would take effect within 6 hours has become a joke. Iran has already rejected President Trump's call for a ceasefire, and Israel is not going to stop. And in between, suddenly President Trump again tweets a bomb message. He's literally yelling in all caps, Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do, it is a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. Well, this is crazy because both Israel and Iran are completely ignoring President Trump's ceasefire. I'm telling you, at one point Iran may stop this war because they can't handle it, but Israel is not going to listen. They will make sure that the U.S. will again come to their help, and to be honest, the U.S. will eventually again come to Israel's defense. It's clear that there has been a major compromise on Israel's long-term interests, and Trump is trying to forcibly push this ceasefire through. Iran is openly saying that there is no such agreement. Their media has already stated that Trump's ceasefire proposal is completely false and is just a distraction to divert public attention. Iran is even saying the U.S. is facing humiliation because of Iran's missile attacks on their bases. And the talk of a ceasefire is just an attempt by the U.S. to cover up the damage, which is obviously sarcasm, because if U.S. bases got hit, then President Trump would bring the whole NATO into this. Now, Netanyahu himself confirmed that the nuclear facilities were not destroyed, and from satellite images, it is also visible that damage was done, but the goal is not achieved. Now everyone is questioning, what has the U.S. achieved by bombing Iran's nuclear facilities and spending more than $500 million in a few hours? American media is also questioning the real impact of the U.S. because now Iran is openly stating that their nuclear program is back on track. They haven't suffered significant damage. They'll rebuild everything soon. And this isn't just according to Iranian media. For example, you can see Russian media reporting that Iran had a contingency plan. They knew how the U.S. and Israel would attack. There would be attacks on Fordow, attacks on Isfahan, so they had properly prepared how to move their scientists and equipment in case of an attack. Iran would restore its nuclear program. Just imagine, the entire point of the U.S. strikes becomes meaningless. Pentagon officials repeatedly said they devastated Iran's nuclear program, but your objective was either to end the nuclear program or bring regime change. If neither happened, then no wonder President Trump is now shouting in caps lock, Iran will never rebuild their nuclear facilities. But Iran is saying something else. It is saying they'll easily restore their nuclear program. Yes, they did lose some nuclear scientists, but still, Iran is confident that they will soon restart their nuclear program. Iranian media is claiming that data from the IAEA must have been leaked somehow, possibly landed in Israel's hands, because the IAEA requires you to disclose information about your nuclear scientists and their work. So once Mossad found out who Iran's nuclear scientists were, they began assassinations at the ground level. Reportedly, 14 nuclear scientists from Iran were killed. But still, now what will happen is that Iran's value among Muslim people is going to increase a lot, because now Iran can portray itself as, we endured. This huge pressure came on us from Israel and the U.S. The U.S. itself bombed us. They kept attacking us. Still, we endured and also retaliated back. Also, in some of my previous videos, I told you that Russian officials are saying that multiple countries are now willingly considering giving their own nuclear weapons to Iran. Well, President Trump also got extremely angry over this. He threatened Russia with nuclear submarines. You can see President Trump tweet in response to former Russian President Medvedev, saying, "Did I hear correctly that you're casually using the N-word? Nuclear? Are you seriously saying that other countries would supply nuclear warheads to Iran? Is this true? If yes, then Russia should speak openly." And then he says, "If anyone thinks our hardware over the weekend wasn't great, far and away the strongest and best equipment we have is 20 years more advanced than the rest of the world. Our nuclear submarines." So President Trump basically threatened Russia. If you try to deliver nuclear warheads to Iran, you'll have to face our nuclear submarines. In response, Medvedev said again, "I repeat, some other country could very well give nuclear warheads to Iran. And if you think this kind of open discussion is strange, let me tell you the strangest thing President Trump said after all of this was that now China can easily purchase oil from Iran. Hopefully, China will also buy a lot of oil from the U.S. I mean, President Trump is joking, right? Because the U.S. had warned the entire world not to purchase oil from Iran or else sanctions would follow. Now President Trump himself is saying China can go ahead and buy oil from Iran. Hopefully, they'll buy from us too. Well, now the problem is whatever President Trump does has a global effect, because he is the President of the United States of America, and that makes him almost the most powerful man in the world. And whenever he says something, signs something, or does something, it affects the entire world. It affects the stock market, it affects trade, it affects industries, it affects policies, and it affects everything. And it affects how, in the future, the world will look at the U.S. Now I think Israel is also feeling the extreme pressure. They're thinking their existence is in danger and President Trump is acting loose. So there are chances that Netanyahu will give orders to eliminate Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, because you can't just destroy an entire country. The ultimate thing you can do is to bring pro-U.S., pro-Israel leadership into power there, which would reduce the need for open conflict. But clearly, in that case, the Middle East will be shaken up, or it might shake the world.